Hello and welcome to the 2022 Asian Triathlon Cup Aqaba course preview. I had a little bit of fun with the sound effects here, but let's get right into it. So this was filmed during the course recon time. We are exiting the water, running up this little path, these nice little mushroom sculptures and stuff. Don't be worried about all these people here. It was like the middle of the day when we did course recce, but during the race they have it all blocked off and there will not be any people in your way whatsoever. So do not worry about that. You get onto the blue carpet right here. It covers all the rocks and pebbles, so it's quite nice to run up. Not an issue at all. You turn right. It's about 200 to 300 meters, give or take, to the bikes, and then yeah, you get on your bikes right here and you run out to the left, and this is about where the mountain line is, and we are going to take you through one lap of the bike course. You go over this little speed hump about 10 meters after the mountain line, but it's not that big of an issue. And here we go. We got Oscar Coggins right here. We're going to follow him through a lap of this bike course. It is a 40K course for the Olympic distance, so that means 8 laps of just over 5 kilometers. So they measured it around 5.2K, so the race actually ended up being 42K, so a little bit long bike course. If you're into that, this could be a good race for you. And a little bit of highlights of this course. It is windy. As you can see, the trees are blowing and it is hot. If you look around, there's a lot of sand and a lot of dirt. So this is the first sort of turn of the course. You got this speed bump right here, a little bit of sand on the right as you can see, but it's a pretty gentle turn going this way around the roundabout. On the way back, it's a little bit sharper of a turn, and then you go over another speed hump. If you watch Oscar right here, he's kind of pointing out there's a little bit of, I don't know, bubbling in the pavement over some of these manhole covers. So just watch that. If you're drinking from your bottle, you could accidentally like launch it out of your hand if you hit one of those the wrong way. But yeah, just be a nice rider and call those out for people so they don't crash or yeah, get messed up. So it's a really smooth course. The road is paved really nicely. Yeah, it's nice, and as you can see, it's windy a little bit from the trees. This first section of the course is a bit of a headwind, and it's also sort of a false flat, so you're actually going slightly uphill, but it's kind of hard to tell. So you're really going to be pushing hard right out of transition on the bike course. And yeah, it's gonna hurt. It was really tough in the race, this section of the course. It's not technical at all, minus like the speed bumps that are occasionally littering the course. Like one is right here, and then there's going to be a second one just after it. But it's just hard. You're just going into the wind, and you're going slightly uphill, so it's a tough one. Yeah, so like I said before, a little over 40K on this bike course for the Olympic distance, and it's hot, it's windy. Those are pretty much the highlights of the course. We're approaching a sort of, I don't know, technical section, you can call it, through a golf course where you're going to make a hard right. It's going to be kind of rolling hills. There's some uphill, some downhill, and crosswinds, wind coming from other directions. There's Clayton representing Canada, blowing past us, doing some interviews. Intervals, I mean. Anyways, sorry, I'm doing this in one take, guys. This is for the people. Anyways, Clayton, super strong athlete, really good racer, super nice guy. And yeah, here we come on to this right turn onto that golf course section. So you got a speed bump, hard right turn. There could be a little sand and then another speed bump. And right here, we're going uphill. I'd say it's around 4%, give or take a little bit. So not super steep, but definitely a couple 100 meters of uphill to, just wake up the legs a little bit. And then once you get over the top of this little hill, you make a hard right, and then you start going downhill a little bit, and it curves a little to the left, and then you're getting a little bit of crosswind. If you look at the course map, the turns look somewhat aggressive, but when I actually rode the course, the turns are pretty mellow. As you can see, Oscar is just pedaling through the turn the whole time. Yeah, not taking his foot off the gas at all. And then you go into this section and it's headwind. So yeah, this whole section around the golf course is pretty tricky just because the wind is coming at you from different angles. So yeah, it makes it fun during the race. It definitely shakes it up a little bit. And we will be approaching a left-hand turn soon. And you're going slightly uphill at this section. And then when you turn left, you're really going up the hill. And you're getting some nice head/crosswind. Oscar just pointed out some leaves, some branches that kind of get blown off. We are in the middle of the desert, as you can see and look around. There's a lot of dirt. And with these trees on the side of the road and the wind, there's definitely going to be some sand and branches and leaves and stuff blown in the course. So just be careful for those, but it's not super significant, nothing too crazy. And as you get to this turn right here, really gentle left-hand turn, you can look at the trees and see the wind is really blowing to the left. Solid crosswind here, and this part is a little bit steeper, but like I said, it's not really much over like 4, maybe 5%. It's not super steep, but it does sting the legs a little bit. And as we go over the top of this hill, we're going to start a downhill. And that is the one part of the course where there is traffic going both ways. So there's going to be some cones on the left, and you go up that road and you also go down that road. So now you can see we're picking up speed, and we're going to have the cones on our left pretty soon. And you're going pretty fast on this downhill, so it's definitely a spot of the course to be a little more cautious of what you're doing as you're going fast on a somewhat narrow part of the road, but the pavement's really good, so hopefully there's no issues. Here are the cones. That's where you make that right-hand turn earlier, and yeah, you can see Oscar's going pretty fast around this section. You can see the trees are actually pretty low too, so you got to watch out not to smack your face into one of those palm branches. Then you have this really somewhat sketchy speed bump, hard left. The cones are kind of in an awkward spot, and there's a little bit of sand, and then you hit another speed bump, and then you're heading back to the transition area. This is the fastest part of the course. It's pretty much wind to your back the whole way to the transition area, and you do have a couple speed bumps, but your speed is pretty high on this section, so it's a nice relief from the headwind on the way out. And as you can see, we're going over some more speed bumps. Just be careful of those, especially when you're going at high speeds. Definitely don't want to take your hands off the bars going over those speed bumps. But yeah, this was a very well organized race. The course was super safe. There's no traffic whatsoever. It's like super closed off, and it's really nice to ride here. And it's also a good spot to ride before the race. So if you get there a couple days early, you can ride on the course, and it's really safe. Definitely safer than the city where there's a lot of cars and traffic. But yeah, super well organized race. Yeah, it is a really tough bike course though. If you're a little less experienced and maybe not as strong of a swimmer. We did have around 7 people get lapped out in the elite men's race, and a couple of the ladies got lapped out as well. So you just have to keep that in mind with an 8-lap bike course on a shorter circuit. Oh, here we have Oscar going around the roundabout on the way back. This is one part of the course where you got to be a little careful. See, there's sand on the left, and it's kind of a high speed, somewhat more technical turn, and then here's a speed bump. And we've got about 600 meters to the transition area from this point. And yeah, we're gonna take you around the U-turn where you start the next lap of the bike. They do have a lap counter right at the end of the course before you make the U-turn, so it's really clear what lap you're on. So yeah, it's a giant lap board. You can't miss it. So just be careful around this U-turn. You'll see Oscar take it like a pro. You got a nice little speed bump here. You got to scrub some speed, a little bit of sand, go around these cones right here, then you go over this last speed bump. And that is a whole lap of the Aqaba course. So yeah, huge shout out to Oscar for taking us around this course, and thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you and gave you a little insight on this race before you go. Cheers.